Hello and welcome to Off Grid Style. I'm Nikki. So today we're talking about the top 10 non-perishable foods to have if SHTF. So what is SHTF? It is an acronym and stands for if the poop hits the fan, and although it's the other word, not poop. And that could be a number of different things. It could be an environmental disaster, financial disaster, blackouts, EMPs, nuclear meltdowns, and pandemics. And I'm sure there's other things that you could probably think of as well. So we're going to talk about the non-perishable foods that you need to have, meaning foods that do not need a refrigerator, that are good for several years or longer, that you can just store somewhere until you need it. So let's get started. Alright, so first on our list is canned vegetables. You can either purchase cans of vegetables or you can can vegetables yourself if that is something that you like to do, know how to do, need to do. It's probably the much less expensive option as well. You can buy or can what you like: corn, green beans, peas, okra, whatever you might like. You can find it in a can or can it yourself. They have essential nutrients and they can be eaten as they are, or you can add them to a meal. And here we have canned fruit. Either, again, homemade, where you're canning it yourself, or store-bought. It has a ton of natural vitamins. It is a source of sweetness, and the juice can actually be added to other dishes, like any dessert dish, or I just made a ham and I poured pineapple juice all over it before I put it in the oven. So you can use the juice to sweeten things. There's obvious ones like peaches, pears, pineapples, mandarin oranges. But don't forget things like applesauce. I found a really great recipe to make your own applesauce. And also, tomatoes are a fruit, so don't forget those, even though we always think of them as a veggie. And I like to create or make dehydrated tomatoes and then powder them so that I can have, 1 scoop of that with 1 scoop of water, turns into a paste, that kind of thing. So lots of different things you can do with them. And of course, we can't forget our proteins. And this one is canned meat and fish. And there's tons of different options in this category. In the fish category, there's lots, salmon, sardines, tuna, just to name a couple. And then, of course, you have your beef options and chicken. It can be mixed with other things to have it as your protein, or it can be combined with another protein to augment or kind of add to the protein content that you're getting with that other protein. The average man, 180 pounds, needs approximately 65 grams of protein per day. The average 130 pound woman needs about 48 grams, and that's just on a regular day. Chances are with SHTF, you're probably going to need more protein than that. And while we're on the subject of protein, we've got dried beans and lentils, and I have a ton of these. I food savored a bunch in smaller packs, and then we have larger packs of them. They're protein as well as a ton of fiber. They're versatile. You can use them as the main protein ingredient in your dish, or you can add them to, like I was talking about the beef and all that, you can add them as a supplementary protein to a dish. So they work either way, and you can put them in almost anything. If you are enjoying this video so far, please do me a favor, like it, subscribe to it, comment, whatever you want to do. If you don't agree with something, let me know. If you do agree with something, let me know. I always love to hear from you, and I always answer back. Thanks very much. Rice. Gotta have rice. It is a staple food. It is your carbohydrates. It's super flexible in meals. You can put put it with just about anything. I recommend getting the larger bags. I think a 20-pound bag of white rice, store brand, was less than $12 when I looked yesterday or the day before when I was making up my shopping list. And you can take that 20-pound bag, put it into a Mylar bag, and seal it, and you now have rice that's good for 25 years. So definitely something to think about. And pasta, one of my personal favorites. Pasta is just about as versatile as rice is. You can pretty much do anything you need to do with pasta. You can throw it into something. If you don't have anything, you can go ahead and use a little bit of oil and garlic, and at least you've got some kind of decent halfway tasting thing to eat. Pasta is very, very filling, just like rice is, so it's a good carbohydrate to have. It will help you out when you're out there in that SHTF situation and you're burning calories. Canned soups and stews. And a lot of people I know actually make their own canned homemade stews with the meat in it and everything, which you know, I'd always heard in the past was kind of a little iffy, but they do well with it. These are great because they're ready to go. All you got to do is heat them up, and you're ready to go as is. Now what you can also do is kind of play with them a little bit, because you're going to get super, super tired of eating the same thing all the time if the SHTF really happens. And you can pick up some rice and dump your stew onto the rice and actually cut that can in half, and with a serving of rice and then a half a can of the stew, you can feed 2 people off of that. You'll be using less per person, which is always a good thing. Also on your soups, you can always throw some beans in the soup. Even though it's ready-made soup, there's no reason why you can't throw extra things in it, so give that a thought too. Peanut butter. I do love me some peanut butter. Peanut butter is a great source of protein and healthy fats. And it is also, there's a best buy date usually on peanut butter, but not an expiration date. So that means that the manufacturer believes that this will be best by X date. Doesn't mean it's bad after that. It just means that, hey, it might not be quite so creamy, or you might have to mix it a whole lot to get the peanut oil back into the peanuts, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. An average jar of peanut butter will last about between a year and 2 years past the best buy date on the jar. Best thing for you to do is smell it. That's how you can tell. Also, you can make your own peanut butter. I don't know if you knew this or not. You can make it plain with no salt or a little bit of sugar in it. You can just whip it around in your food processor, your peanuts, and you've got peanut butter. Takes a little while though. You can go ahead and throw some salt in there if you want a little bit of seasoning to it. Oats and rolled oats. And you're probably like, now, Nikki, what's the difference between oats and rolled oats? Well, I had to look it up. So rolled oats are ones that have been steamed and flattened, kind of like my hair. So I don't know why you would steam and flatten them to begin with, but they did, and that's rolled oats. And that's typically what you see in your oatmeal type oats. Those are rolled oats. They're great for breakfast. They're great for snack bars, you know, protein type bars. They're great to hold everything together. I recommend, again, buying these in bulk, you know, 20-pound bags, I think they come in, and storing them in Mylar bags into the 5-gallon buckets. And I want to say a 20-pound bag is about $40. All right, next we have dried fruits and nuts. And you can tell I'm a little tired because I do believe my southern accent is coming out a little bit more than it normally does. You can dehydrate fruits and nuts yourself. Nuts go rancid pretty quickly if they're not blended up like we talked about with the peanut butter, so you got to check those quite often. The fruits, dehydrating them takes a long, long time. I do the little small oranges, like almost like a mandarin orange, and I will dehydrate those, and it takes a good 2 full days in my commercial dehydrator to dehydrate oranges. So yeah, it does take a while. I also live in the southeast, so it's very, very humid, even with the air conditioning running. Fruits are very nutrient dense and they give you a quick energy boost. Same with the nuts. The fruits will add sweetness to blander meals like oatmeal, for instance. I've also noticed that the more tired I am, the more I babble, so I apologize for that. So check your expiration dates. Very, very important. Make sure you do the FIFO, first in, first out. If it was the first thing that went in, when you go to restock, you pull that to the front, and that's the first thing that should come back out again. Each person should have 2,000 calories per day without any junk food. So start with a few days supply. This can be intimidating. Start with a few days supply, then get to a week for each person, then 2 weeks. Next thing you know, you got a month or two, and you're on the roll then. And just do a little bit each week or each other week, whenever you get paid. Just do that little bit, even if it's just a couple extra cans or one bag of flour or whatever the case might be. Just go ahead and do it a little bit at a time, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you accumulate food in your pantries. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and ring the bell and say hello. Let me know that you watched the video. And did you notice my southern accent coming out more tonight than it normally does? Check out our other content. We've got a great couple of videos on why we're talking about all this stuff like non-perishable food and how important it is. Thank you.